And we are back so soon. That's right, we've got another tournament here that's happening. Just kidding. We've got HDA here. Let's give him a call and have a chat. HDA, hey, how you doing, man?
Now, opposition!
Yeah, how are you?
Why you close the stream, man?
I didn't hear back from you for 5 minutes, but that's okay. I reopened it. We're on stream again.
Come on. I gotta celebrate.
I...
Right? you gotta give it, like, I was leaving my PC, I was yelling, let's go, dude, you know? Like, you gotta give some time.
So...
You gotta let it sink in, you know?
Yeah. Okay, I understand. So, what are you doing to celebrate right now?
Right now? Well, right now I'm sitting at the PC talking to you.
Sure, but, you know, in those 5 minutes after you won your game, and now...
Oh, I was like...
Crack a beer?
Nah, I was like walking around the house, like, thinking about my place.
I bet.
I think the auctioneer on Shadows, the step on auctioneer against the aggro warrior was like really bad, I think.
You think it was bad?
Yeah, because then he kills my turn earlier, right?
What were you expecting to draw, like Earthen Ring or something? To play with the Shadow Step, or what?
No, it's just like, he Reapers this is bad, but in reality, if he Reapers that, it's fine.
Sure.
Dash break next turn.
Sure. Other than that play, though, you played very, very well. Walk us through
Yeah,
a little
honestly,
bit.
like, I was really happy with my plays, especially against those aggro paladins. Like, I was just fucking wasting them, dude.
Yeah.
Like, most people, they just, like, they see aggro, they trade, right?
Yeah.
Like me, man, you gotta show them what's up, you know? You gotta hit him in the face. you gotta show him it's the boss, you know?
Well, you know...
Especially that guy, like, you can't queue up aggro paladin, no consecration, nothing. Like, bro, I'm gonna hit your face. What do you need?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a fine-tuned talent, I think, that a lot of Hearthstone players need to have, of when you flip that switch from defending the board and trading off minions to smorking. It seems like you flipped that switch accurately every single game you were playing today. You had a lot of games as mid-range hunter where you had to make similar decisions, whether to go face or not.
Yeah, no, those, I don't know, man, like, those mid-range hunter games, like, you think mid-range hunter, this deck's easy, but holy hell, man. I got some hard decisions.
Yeah, in my opinion, definitely one of the hardest decks to play, really, in the whole format. Like, you'd think because it's just Curvestone, right? But then you get to a certain turn where you have to play two things in a turn, and all of those things are either, you know, they either look good or bad.
No, but listen, like, if you're against aggro, it's hard. If you're against, like, a druid or something, just flip Curve, right?
Yeah. Now, I actually want to talk to you a little bit about this mid-range hunter list. So you include Explosive Trap, Freezing Trap ×2, and you cut the buzzard, or you cut the hyenas, you cut the crocs, and you cut one buzzard from it. Can you explain that a little bit?
I mean, it's just inconsistent, right? It's just like bad cards. I mean, the idea behind the deck is like you run good cards, right? Like, you don't want no buzzards, you don't want no hyenas. It's like,
yeah,
it's not a good card.
Yeah, the hyenas are pretty weak, but the buzzard can help you. You know, it's your only draw card, right? So you're only...
Yeah, but then they gotta run like River Croc as well. That's a bad card. And then you gotta run... I mean, you can do that list too, but it's hard to fit, like...
Yeah.
It's hard to fit your stuff. Like, you can't fit double deadly shot in that list, I don't think.
Well, you actually... Yeah, so you run double deadly shot in this, and two freezings, which seems like really strong into rogue, which is already kind of a tough matchup for like the Phasure list, but this one seems like a lot more tech versus rogue. So was...
No. You still lose the rogue, definitely. I also, like, my plan with the lineup was ban rogue, because like rogue's like that has like a 60-40 matchup against all my decks, right?
Yep.
Like, all my decks can beat rogue, but I'm like slightly unfavored with all of them. So my plan was like, like, I already shit on control. Like, look at my line, druid beats control.
Yep.
Midrange shaman, in my opinion, beats control quite hard if you play it well.
Definitely.
I mean, Miracle Rogue, like, you beat control, right?
Yeah, it's Miracle Rogue.
Think, and then midrange hunter, double deadly shots, like, none of those bad cards, like Stone Tuskbar or whatever you run, like Tipping Wolf, you got the good cards in, like you shouldn't like control decks as hunter as well. So like the idea is like you run like double explosive, double hounds, you run a pyromancer, the mid-range shaman, just not like get shit over for background.
Yeah, so help me understand this King Mukla here in the mid-range hunter deck. That's not really a traditional sword. Is it?
You play King Mukla versus Druids? Like it's just broken. Like that card's just good, man.
Yeah,
I can see people even put that in like Stu as well, like in high ranks.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're not facing another aggro deck, Mukla is really, really strong, right? And even when you do face an aggro deck, they spend two bananas, two mana on bananas, but...
I don't like the rest like Shaman though and stuff, but...
Right.
And the thing is, like, at the end of the day, it's like, it's a beast as well, right? So you can, I guess it's complicated though, because it's not necessarily a good hunt as a target, right?
Because of the BGH. Yeah, exactly.
And obviously Black Knight as well, but if you like have a better understanding of like what you're doing, it's like okay, you're in a bad spot. Now we can like hit face with Helmas, like creating a big game, right? If you're in a good spot, you can trade with it if you're on big game of the Hellmaster. Like you can really, I think like the fact it's a beast is not great because you don't really want to Hellmaster it, but sometimes Hellmastering it's like good if you like. I don't know how to explain it, but if you like have a good idea what you're doing.
Well,
like, depending on the game.
Not everybody brings BGH to these tournaments, right? Like you, if I'm looking at your decks, you have one copy of BGH in there, right? And so you know you've made the decision that you're not going to see enough of those targets for BGH that you don't want to run it in like Shaman or something. So it's likely that other people may not feel that there's value there. And if people are running decks like Rogue, they're not going to run it in there. So yeah, I mean Mukla into Houndmaster, honestly BGH as a response to that, sure it kills the Mukla and does put a minion on the board, but it's not the absolute greatest tempo play. It's not like it clears your whole board. You still get 7 to the face with Mukla. What about the Snapjaw? You got one copy of a Snapjaw in there. Is that like a anti-aggro?
Now it did. You play this on coin, you coin Snapjaw, and then you play Helmas next turn. Like it's the fucking nuts.
It is. It's a really strong play. It's basically Ancient
really
of War.
Good on coin. I mean, it's just good stats, right? 2/7 for mana, a beast. It's just good stats.
Yeah, have you?
You got Hunter's Mark as well. Just like the card. I'll still consider putting 2 copies in that, but like.
Have you considered anything else in the 4 slot, like maybe Senjin or Dark Iron Dwarf or anything like that, or you feel like Snapjaw's the choice?
No, definitely Snapjaw.
Just Snapjaw. All right. I mean, I like the Snapjaw. I think that's one thing we haven't seen as many players playing the Snapjaw recently. A lot of people playing like the Phasure list in there with no Snapjaw. But it can be a little bit tricky because on turn 4 you don't really necessarily have anything to play with, you know, Houndmaster. You just got 2 Houndmasters and nothing else. So the one copy of Snapjaw does make sense to me. But yeah, with only one buzzard, it can. Do you ever feel like this deck can run out of cards? This Hunter deck?
Okay. Obsession. If I'm being honest, prior to this tournament, I had never played Hunter deck. I did. Like listen. I have a better Hunter deck, but because of open deck list, I don't want to show the deck. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So you're more concerned with your ladder results than your tournament results?
I suppose, yeah. No, but I want to win though. But either way, like you need double hound stuff explosive, because like we're not playing like high legend ladder necessarily. Like there will be players who just plays for fun and stuff. So you can't just build your deck around what you play in high legend, because it will be a different meta, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But all the same, yeah. I mean, there's always the chance that you face one of those strong players that's able to, you know, just run you out of resources, I would think. But it didn't really happen today. We didn't really see you having to sit there top decking with this Hunter deck, which sometimes can happen. We saw, you know, for the most part, you always had, you know, 3 cards in hand with it. You're able to continue your board presence. It's got strong matchups into Druid with the 2 high mains, with the 2 Tigers. So yeah, all in all, I mean, I can definitely understand where you're coming from. The 2 Deadly Shots also really good against Druid as well. I feel like your whole lineup is actually quite strong against Druid.
I think all mid-range hunt decks double Tiger than high main, but yeah, I mean Deadly Shot's just like, if you don't run Deadly Shot, like, I mean that card's just nuts. I mean the meta is about Druid Rogue, Like look at Deadly Shot versus Druid Rogue. Like holy shit, the card is nuts.
Oh, totally. Yeah, well, I mean, without a doubt. And also, just I like how when you include explosive, freezing, and then of course you've got Eagle Horn Bow as well. You've got a lot of removal tools to make sure that the thing that you want to kill with Deadly Shot is available to kill with Deadly Shot on the turn you want to kill it, right?
Right.
Like you can clear the board off.
Play against those aggro pallets.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I got a question for you about your Druid deck. If your lineup is essentially targeted toward Druid, and it seems like a lot of these decks are just good against Druid, why the 2 Sensions instead of two Yetis, which are traditionally a little bit better in the mirror?
I mean, I look at my lineup and I'm just thinking like, what beats my lineup, right? It's like Druid, I'm not worried. Like, let's be real, Druid Mirror, the cover cross Wildgrowth, like you're gonna win.
Right.
Like I can be putting Leroy in my deck. Like it doesn't matter. Like Wildgrowth, you're gonna win. You're gonna win the matchup. Like we know how it goes.
Yeah.
And like we know how it goes. Like I don't think like putting extra text like Sylvanas Jetty. I mean, sure, it might make the matchup like 54% like win rate in mirror, but like it doesn't really matter. I feel like my entire lineup already does like sort of fine with dudes. So I'm just thinking like what beats my lineup, right? And I was scared of aggro.
Right. I mean,
aggro can definitely beat my lineup. So like, why not stick in the Sengens? I think generally Sengens is a good card.
Yeah, in that last match there against Labore Sangre, I assume that's the matchup, the lineup that you really didn't want to face, right? 4 just face decks.
I looked at this lineup as a 4 aggro decks, and like I was just shaking my head. I was like, this is over. But then I looked again at his decks. I was like, wait, aggro warrior. What was it playing? Like aggro warrior, aggro paladin. Is this like some kind of like
aggro rogue?
Trap hunter?
Yep.
It's just not like good decks at the end of the day, right? But obviously, like I think his lineup was like very fucking clever.
Well, it's very good against rogue, right?
No, it's not just that, because I'm just so surprised why he didn't ban Druid. That's the part I didn't understand. Because his entire lineup was like built to not be able to beat Druid. Like you cut Sap from aggro, one of them at least. You cut double equality from Paladin, and that's like the best cards in Druid, right? You cut look at this lineup. But basically cut like all cards that's good versus Druid.
Yeah, let me pull it up on the stream here as well.
He put in all cards that's good versus Rogue. That was like his like.
Right, I mean,
mindset.
Everything seems geared against Rogue. We've got Swamp Ooze, we've got 2 copies of Amani Berserker, which traditionally just is kind of awkward for Rogue to deal with. It's like you want to backstab, Hero Power, something like that with 3 health, but you don't really want to take the 4 damage from the Amani, right? Or the 5 damage from the Amani. But you did manage to squeeze through with your Rogue deck there in the end. I know it's a kind of an uphill battle facing
I would
those.
say I'm not a good Miracle Rogue player. Like it's funny because I queued up Miracle Rogue and everyone was just banned on Miracle Rogue. A little did they know, like I don't even know how to play the deck. Like I just queued up to eat the ban and that's it. Like, I don't know how to play Miracle Rogue.
Well, most players banned Miracle Rogue today, so yeah, you're kind of in the minority there.
Everyone banned Miracle Rogue except Lost Guy, but I mean, I played the Miracle Rogue versus Paladin match a lot. Like that's like the only match. Like I don't know, maybe I'm just getting good RNG. I mean, I do double backstab opening hand. That's just nuts. But for some reason, when I play Miracle Rogue versus Paladin, I win. I don't know what it is.
Well,
but yeah. I'm like I don't know, like 15-2 in that matchup, something ridiculous. Like I just don't lose the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I would say having played a lot of aggro pally myself, I think one of the dangers is that it can just kind of it's like one turn too short to beat the rogue, right? Is that if you don't quite do enough damage by the time the rogue gets the gadget Zan, it can be kind of hard to just come back on the board against somebody that's now just got 2-turn lethal immediately upon concealing gadget Zan.
Yeah, I mean, usually if they draw like what's the number? Like I think 4 cards are more in favor, they usually win.
Mm-hmm.
Draw like 3 cards, that's usually fine. But if you get to like 4 points, you should lose the matchup. I would say. And so essentially, it's really awkward because you can't really play around Divine's favor as Miracle Rogue, right?
Exactly.
It gets like really awkward. So you gotta like have a understanding, like okay, if it does forecast Divine's favor this position, will I win or lose the game? If also you're gonna lose the game, then you might want to play around it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that, honestly, in
And
the matchup, that's one of the key cards that you really do have to play around, right? Is that like a big Divine Favor can just blow you out. But if you're playing Gadget Zan and drawing a whole bunch of cards with it, does the Paladin really want to spend 3 mana on Divine Favor?
that's the thing.
Loses a lot of tempo, right?
Like I would not skip. Okay, again, I don't play Miracle Rogue that much, but I would not skip Gadgets and versus Agrapali. Like no way.
No.
Divine Favor's the card, for example. Like, even on coin, I wouldn't even consider it. Just insta throw it away.
Yeah.
Divine Favor, right?
Yeah, I think it's a it's kind of a delicate dance that you have there, where your hand size, if you make it too big, if you're just sitting there, if you get bananas in your hand early on, you don't have anything to play them with. You really can, if the Paladin's a little ahead on the board, you really can eat a bad Divine Favor. But it's kind of this dance of like how many cards you want to keep. Enough cards in hand that you can get combo activators and things like that, ways to draw with Gadgets in when eventually it does come around. But at the same time, you can't.
I remember.
Just hold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I remember like when I played Rogue with Agrapali and the guy dropped a Mutla, and I had like backstab Deadly Poison, and I had Blade Fury, and I had a 1/1 dude like on top of the Mutla.
Mm-hmm.
Like I Blade Fury that board, and like I don't know if it was you or the other guy in voice, but you're like, oh, that's a very expensive player.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm spending cards. What do you mean? Like, this ain't bad. No, but Agrapali, like usually they don't go that wide. Like they really don't. Like clearing like clearing 2 minutes with a Blade Fleur, that's good. It's very rare. Like after like turn 3, turn 4, they can drop like 3-4 minions. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean,
they really just don't go wide. Like using a AoE on like 2 minions usually is good.
Yeah, I think there. Some of the aggro paladin decks play more 1-drops than others, but just in general, I suppose when I'm watching that that moment where you deadly poison and you decide to flurry instead, you're right, you do get cards out of hand, which is nice. At the same time, there's always the threat when you have that 3 damage weapon up that if there is a flurry, their next turn, if they just dump their hand, could be a complete blowout, right? It could just be
So
flurry, eviscerate, and you still don't have any cards in hand, and they have nothing to Divine Favor, and their board's gone. But you also take 5 damage from Mukla as well, and I think as we saw in the game, later on you were facing down lethal if you had taken that 5 damage from Mukla. So, turns out to be a good choice, right?
I mean, it's not like I remember exactly how the game went, but I don't think I would have gone Blade Fleur value later on that game.
Yeah.
But maybe I would. But then, like, all my games, I don't know what happened, like, they were fucking ridiculous. Like, like they went down to the fatigue with like both players like 1 damage off lethal. Like the most like ridiculous stuff happened. Like,
yeah, and you'll have to watch the VOD afterward. Your opponents at least in one game, your opponent when you had 1 HP also had damage enough to bring you to 1 HP but not kill you. It was like
with the double money,
yeah, just like really crazy games. I'd have to say probably about the closest that we've seen as far as tournament matches, and a lot of games went to game 5 too, right?
Yeah, like pretty much all of them,
Yeah, like really tough schedule that you played today. What was your favorite game, or not match, but your favorite particular game that you played today?
Oh, definitely that Shaman Mirror. I can't remember, like, was that first game? I think that was first game versus Ambi.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, first, like, what do you call it, like, series session, what do you want to call it? Like the Shaman Mirror, where, was that Shaman Mirror? No, it was Shaman versus Sue, I think. Yeah, it was Shaman versus Sue. You remember that one or not?
Not really, but
like we were both down to like 5 HP, and he's like top decking Doom God to clear my.
Yes, now I remember that. Yeah, now I remember this. Yeah.
Like his 2 cards he draws is Doom God, tap, Soulfire, just clears my entire board.
Yeah,
that's the most not thing like I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then I think I top deck Hexen's Doom God. Like,
and traditionally, that's a little bit favored for Zoo too, right? Zoo is typically a little bit strong into Shaman. It's hard for the Shaman to like tempo the board without being overloaded and kind of screw over for the next turn. So yeah, really, like those those games that you pick up when you're fighting into a counter matchup are so important in tournaments like these, right? Is if you lose the counter matchup every time, you just lose the whole series. So being able to pick up wins like that, and Shaman a particularly hard deck to navigate because with the overload mechanic, you have to plan ahead so much more than other decks do, right? You can't just usually be saved by a top deck. You kind of have to plan. Is this the turn I play the Lightning Storm? You know, sometimes you have very awkward turns playing Lightning Storm on 4 and having mana left over. But yeah, you navigated that really well. I think there was a taunt totem rolled in there as well. That kind of was a lifesaver as well, if I recall. But I mean, yeah, a lot of really close matchups today that you had, and
I did play in one Pyromancer, so yeah, definitely was to sue that.
Yeah, well, explain. So I was kind of curious about that with the Pyro. Normally we see players just tech absolutely to the gills with Shaman against any of the value matchups. So that's like Warrior or Druid that they're trying to tech for. Explain that choice of the Singleton Pyromancer in that deck for me.
That was because of Zuluk, right? I mean, Zuluk is probably the worst matchup Shaman in the game, I would say. Probably. Maybe something I can't think of, but I mean, again, like my lineup, I'm just scared of aggro, so just put like in slightly text against aggro, so I'm like 45, maybe like 40-60 against aggro, 45-55 against aggro. Just make him like winnable, right? And then I should be Gucci.
So I understand the Pyro choice is that you're a little scared of aggro, but then you've also got the Black Knight in there, which I assume is anti-Druid tech. So kind of an interesting balance where you're trying to kind of cover all your bases at once. Did you feel like you were maybe scared if you had 2 Pyros in there? Are you scared that maybe you're not going to get enough value or there's a chance you lose to Druid?
I don't know, I mean, you probably don't want to run double Pyro. I mean, running 1 is questionable if you put 2 in. I don't know, that just sounds like a bad idea. I'm just not going to try that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, there's like, if you're only running 1 copy of Earthshock, it's a little bit harder to activate the second Pyro, right? The first one might be just an easy Pyro Lightning Bolt, but then the second one, it's like, well, what are you going to do, like Pyro Feral Spirit or something? So I could see where 1 Pyro is good there instead of running both of them at once.
Yeah, no, you definitely can't fit like double shock, double Pyro, that'd be nuts.
Right. So your Rogue got banned most games, is that correct? Most matches that you played?
Yeah, no, my Rogue got banned every single time except the last time, because he had like a full anti-Rogue lineup.
Yeah, so you were probably pretty happy about that. You don't have to play your least comfortable deck. You get to play the 3 decks that you actually wanted to play.
No, so I've actually been spamming Rogue quite a bit last week, and I kind of enjoyed this, but yeah, I mean, I don't feel super comfortable on it. It's like my least played deck, I suppose, of the lineup.
And what's your most played class, or kind of your signature class that you play?
Oh, definitely Druid.
Okay, so you're a Druid guy. Is this the I know that you're a very competitive ladder player as well, but is this the Druid deck that you mostly bring on the ladder, or is this like a tournament specific one that you brought here?
Like, if I'm being honest, like every game I change up my Druid deck. Like,
you're one of those.
I queue into Handlock, insta putting in second Big Hunter. I queue into back-to-back Handlock. Like, you'll see a naturalize in there as well, you know? Like, I change up the deck every game, to be honest, pretty much.
I don't see any problem with that. I know that there are a couple of players who are real Druid aficionados who who just have like 8 versions of Druid that they play, right? It's like just one tech card is replaced with another or something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's so me.
Okay, so you're the Druid guy. Why do you? Here's a question for you. Why do you think that Druid and just generally control style decks are more popular in EU than they are in NA?
I mean, it's very honestly, like, I feel like Druid would be fine in A and NA. I suppose like there's a lot of rogues, like unfavored rogue, right?
Right.
And then, like, depending on your deck, like if you're running double Jetty, Sylvanas, like, yeah, you're not beating no rogues, no aggro, but I mean, you can definitely make it like doing more anti-aggro, because when the control decks, they definitely play fucking anti-aggro, dude, like what I've seen. Like, I'm seeing Farseers in Control Warrior and NA. Like, I don't even know what I'm seeing anymore. Like, Cleave, Farseer.
Yeah.
Like, the most ridiculous anti-aggro. Like, you can probably put in, like, double Senjin. Probably even run, like, double Sunwalker. Like, Ancient of War. You can even maybe put in, like, an Ooze. Like, you play hell anti-aggro and still, like, beats, like, most things. But at the end of the day, like, you're just unfavored rogue, right? So, and like aggro is not like a matchup either. So it just doesn't really make sense for NA, I don't think. But
Yeah, do you...
on EU, like I don't think Druid's that good in EU at the moment, to be honest. Depends day by day, I suppose. But usually when you play Druid, you're gonna get unfavored matchups.
Well, apparently not too bad. You finished rank 1 on the ladder. Was that was last season, right? That you finished rank 1?
No, this was like, I don't know what it was, like 5-6 seasons ago. I finished back-to-back rank 1 spamming Druid, but
Okay.
that took like a break, and now it seems like people realize that Druid's pretty good, so now everyone's just playing Druid or anti-Druid.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like NA meta is like you either play Rogue or you play against Rogue, and EU meta, tournament or ladder, it doesn't matter which. It's like you play Druid or you play anti-Druid, yeah. And so we start to see the popularity of Shaman rise on EU, and we start to see the popularity of things like Face Hunter and Aggro Paladin really rising in NA. So yeah, really like different approaches, I guess, fundamentally to the game in those regions, and each region has its own meta, right? Like, you know, it just kind of is what it is. Sometimes it evolves. Sometimes there are players who are very strong who kind of break the meta and force other people to start playing anti-aggro or anti-control or something like that. But so you've won the EU championship. You've ranked number 1 on the ladder several times at the end of the season.
No, 2 times.
Okay, so I tend to think of this as beating the multiplayer campaign in Hearthstone. What's next for you after that? Do you have plans? Do you have other games that you play? Or are you gonna try and repeat your championship here in the EU? Do you keep grinding the ladder out? Stream? What are you thinking?
I mean, I definitely play other games. I play a bunch of RuneScape. I mainly RuneScape, to be honest, but I definitely think, like, I'm gonna be honest here, like, the ladder now is definitely more competitive, like, than when I got rank 1. So, I mean, me getting rank 1, like, this month would be, like, pretty different, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just like more player nowadays.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I definitely think, like, it's still really fucking hard to get rank 1, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're absolutely right, that both servers, rank 1 has become insanely competitive compared to what it used to be, and I don't think we can attribute it all to just, like, lots of bots or anything,
I'm telling you, like, actually, people have started playing Control Warrior now in this year, to be honest. Like, Black Knight Control Warrior, and they do find your spreads. But back in the day, like, you'd queue up on, like, rank, like, top 5 or something, and you suddenly see, like, most ridiculous decks. Like, you see, like, a Control Warrior, like, rank 50 or something you'd queue up into. You see, like, a Control Paladin, like, rank 100 when you're, like, rank 5. Like, people are not playing, like, I'm telling you, I remember, like, one time, I don't remember, was it rank 1 or rank 2? And I queued into a bronze 10. I'm not even joking. Like, it was really off peak time, I remember this. I was sitting there like in 15-minute queue or something ridiculous, and a bronze 10 appears. Like, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, surely there's someone queuing up. Like, at least it's like a diamond or something. Like, why is it giving me a bronze 10?
Yeah.
But
I guess.
That's the most.
Yeah, really kind of random. I think sometimes there is a hidden MMR as far as I understand. So, and that does carry over a little bit from season to season, but this all the same, like your MMR should be sky high if you're rank 1, right? So shouldn't be facing them.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe the guy finished later last season or something, but still, like,
right. What do you attribute to? How would you? Why would you say it's so much more competitive now than it used to be? Why are there so many more strong players that are at the top of the ladder in EU or in NA?
I mean, the like standard, it's getting worse and worse. Like eventually people come to classic. Like standard, every expansion is just getting more and more ridiculous. Like the power creep is just growing. People lose their minds. At least I think. I don't know exactly, but I think long term, like there will just be more and more classic players. If people switch from standard to classic.
Yeah, I mean it's a game that people aren't just going to stop liking, right? They're still going to want to play Hearthstone. They just don't want to play Hearthstone when every single turn is like draw 5 cards and discover 5 more and reduce the cost of everything in your hand to 0. And there you go. Like, see if you can find lethal with a bunch of 0 mana stuff. Yeah, I could definitely understand why people get frustrated with standard, but they don't want to let go of the game in general. I think classic can be a happy medium for that. Another kind of question around that is, you would think that because, well, first of all, there was a standard meta when Classic was standard, and there were what we thought were optimized deck lists back then, but then we're still having tournaments, we're still seeing meta developments at the top. Do you feel like there's still life for standard, a couple months down the road? Do you think more innovations will happen? People will keep adding new deck archetypes, new cards? Or do you think that it's kind of got a... Yeah. Okay. I feel the same way. I mean, we just, in tournaments like these, we see tons of weird, creative decks. We've seen, Quatoch bring 4 decks with 4 giants each to NA tournaments and done well with it, right? We've seen some really wacky stuff that's actually been quite successful. And it's about how you pilot it, right? Not just the deck construction.
Yeah, but if, like, say, like you're playing Face Hunter, right?
That sounds like an average day for me. Yeah, keep going.
Okay, and then you're like, there's a lot of aggro ladder. I'm gonna cut my Hunter's Mark, right?
I never played Hunter's Mark in Face Hunter ever.
Right. See, that's what I mean. There's so much angry stuff on Hunter's Mark.
Right.
And now maybe I'm like, maybe I should play like Tarnshoot, put in double Ancient of War. And now you're like, oh fuck, maybe I should switch deck or put in Hunter's Mark.
Right, exactly. And
so it's like the meta will always like change up. Obviously, I mean, it just depends. Like if you wanna try something new, then I'm gonna like try something new to fuck you over, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just constantly change.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we've your mid-range hunter deck here is a good example of this. I don't think that we've seen a mid-range hunter deck ever in a tournament yet that features quite so many secrets with the 2 explosives, 2 freezings. And it clearly worked out for you well here, and so just it's not creating a new archetype necessarily, but that's a significant number of tech cards you're putting in there with 2 freezings, 2 explosives, and Mukla, and a second deadly shot, and a Snapjaw. And it's again not a different archetype, but that's like 6 card substitutions, right? Or 7, 8 card substitutions. That's a significant change to the deck.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like more consistent, right? But I mean, if I'm being honest, like you say, like 4 secret explosive freeze trap, I'm telling you, Snipe is the nuts.
Yeah, if you
play this card versus Rogue, like they're not gonna have a good time. I'm telling you that much.
Yeah, maybe I could ask you a little bit about that, because that is one new archetype that we've seen is this trap hunter with the 2 freezing, 2 explosive, 1 snipe. Deadly shots, just basically like so many layers of defense that a rogue can't even start to deal with it.
Double snipe, dude.
that
like listen, like do you think deadly shots good as rogue, right? But pro deadly shots they still draw from auctioneer if you get like the green deadly shot. You put snipe, you don't draw a single card. It's fucking funny.
Right, and not only that, it's like if you don't have a second auctioneer, you just kind of can lose the game, right? You got a gadgets, you got a conceal in hand and a bunch of preps and stuff like that. Like doesn't matter at all. But I think it's interesting because we again, even in a format that doesn't have new cards, doesn't have any balance adjustments or anything like that, we can see brand new archetypes like that come out, and then we see them in tournaments all the time, right? We see this trap hunter, Crusher comes up with it. We see it all the time in tournaments because it targets rogue well, and we even see it being successful on the ladder as well. So, unexplored archetypes out there. If you were to give your best opinion, what do you think is a new archetype that maybe hasn't been explored yet? Something that has a lot of potential, but maybe hasn't been played much. Is there any deck that you're thinking of that might be a sleeper in this current format?
Alright, the thing is, like, I like to test things. Like, if I think a deck could be like really good, like, I've already tried this, right?
Right.
But probably not. No.
Mildred. I'm kidding. I think that's already sort of an archetype. But yeah, I think there are a couple things.
That's definitely something you Mildred put from the ladder.
Yeah,
That used to be a meme deck, but now it's actually like a good deck. Like, what happened?
yeah, properly played. I mean, you can just run somebody completely out of resources, right? And all the better if you're able to mill somebody along the way with naturalizing cold light. Sure. Yeah, I think there are a couple unexplored things. On NA, we've seen some pretty wacky stuff as well. Arceus for some time was running like a Zoo Paladin with Shield Bearer and Wolf and stuff like that. It's like you can kind of plug and play these little modules of cards, like the Wolf Shield Bearer, Zoo kind of setup. You can do the with Hunter you can do the secret setup. There are just a lot of ways to take little modules and put them together to make a deck, and I think that's kind of one of the things that makes Classic really cool.
Well, I mean, for Sulok specifically, like you mentioned Shield Bearer.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing, I don't know if you play Sub, but usually you fit 28 good cards in the deck, you got put in 2 bad cards, right? So people usually they play double coil, which is your 2 worst cards in the deck. Well, it depends on the meta. Like it's an aggro meta, it's like best card pick.
Right.
And then some people play like Leopard Gnomes, that's gonna be their 2 worst cards. So you can play like Shield Bearer, it's also solid. I think Loot Hoarder could be okay, but there's play it.
Yeah, you already have your hero power, but still, it's a playable card, right? Cycling without having to tap is kind of nice.
So yeah, I mean that's basically why people play Shield Bearer sometimes. It's like you lost 2 cards, so are just not gonna be good. So it's like. Yeah.
What's the deck you hate the most?
Deck I hate the most? I mean, it's unpopular opinion, but like Pro Miracle Mode, like holy shit, that deck pisses me off. No, but honestly, like Shaman's really annoying too. But that's probably because I played Red.
Interesting choices. Yeah, I'd have to say personally, I'm not too big a fan of Zoo, and I'm an aggro player. I like to play creature-based decks. I like to do face damage, but Zoo's very good against those kinds of decks because it just outvalues them on turns 1 and 2, and then you just play from behind the rest of the game. But totally understandable, Miracle Rogue. When I see a Miracle Rogue, I'm just my eyes light up, and I'm thinking about all the Arcane Golems and Leroys that I can send to face. But yeah, Shaman can also be a very annoying class to deal with, especially, I assume, since you're a Druid main, Shaman is always a tough matchup for you with, hexes and all the stuff that deals with yours.
Nah, I think, I mean, it's a tough matchup. It's just annoying, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, Rogue's also tough matchup. I guess I hate Rogue, though. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll go with Rogue. Okay,
yeah, sure.
So you won $75 today.
Wait, hold up. You said, like, any decks is unexplored?
Yeah.
I mean, probably Hunter. Like, the amount of things you can do with Hunter is ridiculous. You see, like, what all in? That guy, like, he brings like new Hunter decks all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of like creativity you can put into Hunter deck is just ridiculous. I think.
I would tend to agree with you there. I think it's probably the most unexplored class in Standard. I mean, well, Priest isn't played very much, but I think we kind of know what the good Priest cards are, right? There are not too many choices there. But Hunter, there are a lot of archetypes, new archetypes that are created or modifications on existing ones, and they all seem like they're pretty valid, right? There are a million versions of Face Hunter, obviously a couple versions of Mid-Range Hunter, there's Trap Hunter. We've seen people that are interested in Control Hunter in the past, I feel like, once a week or once every couple of weeks we have someone pop into the Hunter channel and ask about Control Hunter and putting in Ragnaros and Doomsayers and stuff like that. But yeah, I would have to agree that I think the Hunters maybe got a lot of potential there to have some new decks. So you won $75 today. Wait, let me quick do the calculation to euros.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. So you're blinging. That's $69, pretty much exactly. Rimshot. So what are you planning on spending that money on? You don't have to share if you don't want to.
I had sent $5 to bank account already, and I'm not. I don't want to say it a nice way, but it's just like going to a bank account, to be honest.
Sure. That's a fine way to use it.
It's not like, oh, it's $5. Let's buy a new keyboard. Like, no, just put it in bank accounts, man.
Yeah, and now let's see. I'm going to check and see the price of this golden standard bundle here. You sure you don't want to spend it on some Hearthstone cards? You could buy 1.5 golden standard bundles for it. No, I'm just kidding. I know that I don't think you play standard at all. Neither do I.
To be honest, like, I log into Hearthstone, I'm not even looking at my quests. Like, I can't even be bothered to, like, grab a new quest to look at them. Like, I got the classic cards, I'm happy. Like, I don't even do the quests.
Oh, I mean...
Like, I probably have, like, you know, there's like a, what's it called? You know where you grab the rewards?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't grabbed the rewards in months. It's probably, like, 5k gold sitting there. Ignore that. I already have all the classic cards. Like.
Yeah, you just keep it in the bag for now. That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to click on all the stuff on the rewards track. I think some people just don't like to see that little red exclamation point there when they log in. They feel obligated.
No, there should be a button where you can just claim everything.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's manually click on everything. It's kind of ridiculous.
Well, maybe I'll ask you when you do eventually decide to do that, and maybe decide to spend some of that in-game gold on, who knows what, and opening packs and such. Maybe you can stream it for those who are less fortunate or haven't been playing as long and don't have a full collection, so they can live vicariously through you. Up to you, though, of course. Okay, so really great tournament victory again today. Gotta say congratulations. So many tough matches that you played, so many matches that went the distance all the way to Game 5, and so many that you were just right there on the brink of elimination and managed to pull it back.
Yeah.
So I gotta hand it to you. That takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of mental fortitude in order to do that. So big hats off from me. I think you really, really earned this one. So congratulations again.
Thank you, Position.
All right, so it's been a long day for everybody here. I'm sure you've got plenty of ways to celebrate. I know I certainly have some celebration in order as well here. So I want to thank you once again, HDA. Really fantastic to have you here for a winner's interview, and thanks so much for all the entertaining, awesome Hearthstone games you played today.
Yeah, no, like, wait, Obsession, one side.
Mm-hmm.
So the craziest part about all this, so sign up to the tournament. But to be honest, when I signed up, I had like work plans, okay?
Yeah.
So when the tournament would start, I would be at work normally.
Mm-hmm.
But I got lucky, so like, I got to go home early from work so I could make the tournament.
Oh.
But it wasn't planned, I just got like good RNG.
Dude, it was your day today. That's like the definition of serendipity right there.
Yeah, so like, I was like, I might as well like sign up for a tournament, maybe I get lucky, go home early, and actually
yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, getting lucky enough. I mean, certainly there's a little bit of luck involved in winning a tournament, but certainly like mostly skill there. But yeah, I mean, it must have been your lucky day, really. And so that's awesome to hear. I'm really happy that you got to not only get off work early to play in the tournament, but also just got to win the tournament. I think that given your past successes and how active you've been in streaming for the community and everything like that, it's a very well deserved victory. So you can pass along my thanks to your boss for letting you off work early today.
Oh man.
All right. Cool. So we're gonna end it there. Thanks everybody again for tuning in to the winners interview. Sorry that I didn't quite get your message in time for the stream earlier, but that's all right. We got it all recorded. It'll go up on our YouTube channel. Any last thoughts? Do you want to do any shout outs to anybody that maybe watches Hearthstone religiously every single day and begs people to stream? Any shout outs that you want to give?
I mean, shout out to all the classic players. Like fuck standard.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're allowed to say it. Absolutely allowed to say it. I've heard that Wild can be okay sometimes, but I'm not totally convinced. But yeah, maybe that'll be our closing mantra is fuck standard. And yeah, long live the classic format. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I know that some in chat were saying that they were going to have some kind of violent thoughts if you didn't send a shout out to Gaga. So maybe you want to say hi to him before we leave?
Oh yeah, Gaga. He's a fucking great Hearthstone player.
And probably the best Hearthstone spectator I've ever seen in my life as well.
Yeah, honestly, like Gaga every day, he teaches me stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and provides us with quality meme content as well. Everything we need. All right. Thanks again, HDA. Really appreciate it. I hope your wonderful lucky day continues to go well. Maybe go buy a lottery ticket or something the way things are going.
I mean, it's 1 a.m. right now, so I gotta go to bed, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
It's definitely been a good day, though.
Yeah, yeah. Well deserved, well deserved. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Congratulations once again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right.
And good night for me.
Good night. All right, folks. That'll do it for us today. I hope that you got a good look into HDA's fantastic, wonderful, very, very lucky, awesome day. But also a day that he worked hard on. You know, a lot of skill to make your way all the way to the last round of a tournament. So pass by your congratulations. And otherwise, we're going to end the stream there. Thanks once more, everybody, for tuning in. It was a fantastic time. Hope everybody has a great day.